Hello guys, welcome back to Comic Book Cafe. This time around we are reviewing Uncanny X-Men Volume 4, Issue number 5. So basically this is the finale to the Dark Riders battle that's going on. If you don't know, the Dark Riders are going out and hunting down any healing mutants. Along with all the other problems the mutants are having, the Inhumans blowing up. Basically the Terrigen Mist basically stopping from any mutants getting up, having abilities or getting into their abilities. So mutant population is, obviously slowly dying off. And now the Dark Raiders are hunting down any healing mutants. Well, the Uncanny X-Men, who are basically Magneto's team of Magneto, Sabretooth, Archangel, M, and Cyclops, basically are trying to save a healing mutant called Triad from the Dark Riders. Right now it's Triad and Magneto, and then the Dark Riders right now. And they're trying to capture, obviously, or kill Triad. And so, a battle ensues, but ultimately, the Dark Riders do stab Triad through the chest, and one of them has the ability to stop Triad basically being able to use his abilities to heal, because he could heal, he would be able to heal himself. And so they think he's going to die. Well, that's when Magneto decides to open up a can, destroy everybody, and he wipes out most of the team, Dark Riders. And then the one who actually can, basically he's got a gunner, can snap his head, he sees his scope and goes, "Well, I respect you." Basically he's got to do it. And right as he's about to do it, the rest of the team shows up, and he realizes that Magneto was just buying time for backup. And Magneto says, "You didn't think I didn't notice you, Metal Man." And, you don't see what happens to him, but assuming they wipe him out, because, Magneto's not like the forgiving guy, live and let live, especially hunting us down kind of thing. But one of them actually screams, "Apocalypse, where are you?" Because, again, and Magneto makes, your masters are now gone, they've abandoned you. And so the Dark Riders are taken care of. But, actually, let me phrase that. We know what happens to him, we just don't see it, because then, Magneto makes the point to him that I'm gonna send a message to whoever's still watching your activities, and they're on Genosha, Geonsha. Again, so many bad mutant things have happened there over the years, and the island, and basically Magneto blows up the entire island with them on it. So he blows up the whole island, so they're probably dead, and send a message. And I love when it says, "Why?" Ask him, "Well, why did you blow up the island?" He goes, "Well, that basically said that place has been dead a long time ago." And the team seems uneasy, especially like Sabretooth, that like, "Why didn't you tell us you had holding rig to blow?" And he told Sabretooth he's too variable to trust, and that's why I didn't tell him. So they get Triad out there. Cyclops and M take Triad to X-Haven, the new headquarters, the new safe haven for the X-Men. Storm is their leader, and Cyclops shows with Triad, and they're all like happy Wookiees now a healing mutant. And Storm and Cyclops have a conversation about, Storm's happy to see her, obviously, but about Magneto, and she's like, "Well, Magneto didn't come, and he doesn't agree with what you're doing." And she goes, basically, if you've been around Magneto long enough, he's not going to agree with what you're doing and doing his own way. And Cyclops kind of defends him, saying, "Yeah, but he's right. We can't stop waiting. We got to, do something about, what's going on." And Storm offers Cyclops and M to join them, but they basically turn her down and go back to Magneto's team, which are now in the Savage Land. And there's some conversations there. Again, Sabretooth made a comment, "I should check for explosives." And Magneto tells him there's no explosive, you got nothing to worry about. Because again, he puts some distrust of the team with him because of these things. He's not telling them everything. And so when Cyclops shows back up, she has a conversation with him, and they talk, and she's like, she tells her about what Storm offered him, but she's like, "Hey, listen, you got this team, you got M, who's the perfect mutant, you got Sabretooth who could go off the deep end any time, you got obviously, Archangel, and her. If you don't keep telling us, you keep not telling us everything, you're eventually going to come back. It's eventually going to come back to bite you. That's what X-Men do." And he's like, "I'm not an X-Men." And he said, "Even Xavier kept secrets from you." and I'm going to keep secrets from you. So he's not going to stop doing what he's doing when he thinks it's best for everybody if it doesn't happen. So then we see Mystique and was it Fantomex? And Fantomex can make himself turn his own ship and stuff like that. And they're flying, and she's like marveling at how he can do that, transformation stuff, talking about things. And all of a sudden, the ship keeps moving. He's like, "We can't be detected." And then Magneto is the one who got the ship, and he says, "We need to talk." And that's how the issue ends. Next issue, will again for this series, we'll go into the Apocalypse Wars, and the cover hints shows Archangel screaming, teasing people into thinking he's going to go, you might think he goes back to Apocalypse because it's history, but who knows. But again, this was not a bad book. If Magneto's one of those characters I absolutely, truthfully like a lot in comics. He doesn't change who he is when he's written. He's a bad guy who will go through anything because of the things he's gone through in life. The world wars, being hunted down because of who he was, and being a Jew and everything, and what he's seen. And he will do things the hard way. He will go through any lengths to ensure things get. He's got the right intent, but always does it the most harshest way, right? Where other people won't, take other people out or whatever needs to be done. He'll do that without mercy. And that's why Magneto's such an interesting character. He doesn't have the bleeding heart. He shows, he cares about people, but he doesn't always let that get in the way of what the objective that needs to get done, which he thinks is very good for everybody in his own way. But again, this was a good, see the Dark Riders, see the end and everything. This was a good comic to see the end of the Dark Riders competition, to, see. If you've never, this book wasn't a bad book to jump into the series. Again, I never read any of this current run of this series until now, because you get to see, again, the links that begin with the Dark Riders, how the links that, Magneto will go through to do things. He doesn't care if he has to kill people or wipe people out to do it. Seeing the, relationship between him and the X-Men and X-Haven, the strenuous relationship, obviously, at best, way to put it. And then seeing, they're going to be on Savage Island, because their headquarters was at Geno Shaw, and no longer it's gone. It's gone. So now they're in Savage Land, which is not really shown incredibly a lot in Marvel. It has been at times, but not as much as a location for people to operate out of. And we'll have to wait and see what happens with Mystique and Fantomex with Magneto. But an interesting book, because these are not good guys, right? And that's what makes this book interesting. They're not necessarily good guys. They're trying to do a good thing, but being bad at the same time. So, what do you guys think of this book? Again, this was one of the more interesting books I read, one of the more interesting books I read this week, and better than average. And definitely, you could jump into this and kind of catch on as you go along, because you understand all the dynamics, and I'm sure by the next issue, if you don't understand all of it, you'll understand it all. Because sometimes when you jump in a comic book series, it does take a couple issues to get everything down. But overall, like the artwork, like the story, interesting direction. So anyway, what do you guys think of Uncanny X-Men? I know now we're going into the Apocalypse Wars with this, and we'll see where it goes. We'll see what ultimately, with these recent crossovers in Avengers and X-Men, and of course the reveal of the cover of something called Death of X, are they resetting these teams, or what are they going to do? Anyway, guys, love to hear your opinions like always, and I'll do another review soon. Later.